There are three main theories that are in this assignment. The first is the drive theory. This is a relationship between arousal and performance, a positive correlation. If there is an increase in arousal, then performance quality will also increase. This theory also explains that this depends on how well a skill has been learned, so that it can be implemented into a game situation. Similar to earlier talking about the responses between expert and novice. However, this theory doesn't explain what happens when an expert performer fails. An example of this theory is when a performer plays in the highest division in their respective sport for the first time as an expert. Their performance level may increase as they are very excited at the opportunity to not only play at a higher level but also be playing professionally. The inverted U theory. This theory suggests that there is an increase in performance quality as arousal increases up until the optimal point or the threshold of arousal. This theory indicates that there is an optimal level of performance at a midway level of arousal. If the arousal moves beyond the optimal point, then the performer will become over-aroused and the ability to perform the motor skill deteriorates. There is a smooth transfer from optimum arousal to over-arousal on the diagram, but this is the criticism. It is more likely that there is a sharp transfer between the two. The catastrophe theory. The catastrophe theory has a similar pattern to the other theories, where if arousal levels increase, then so does performance quality. The performer reaches an optimal level of performance and arousal, but then there is a radical decline in performance. This is the catastrophe phase, because there is a catastrophic decline in performance. However, the performer can possibly control the radical decline and can recover so they can return to the optimal point of performance. But if they continue to be over-aroused, then their performance quality will continue to decline. There is no explanation for recovering from the catastrophic decline, however, at its lowest point. An example of this theory could be a professional player that is having a good game in a cup final for basketball, but in the third quarter they commit 2 fouls. The player may think the fouls were poor calls, but they are now frustrated and argue with the referee, and they get a technical foul. The performer now has the choice of controlling their behaviour or getting more frustrated and getting thrown out of the game. This is the extended decline, and this is where the criticism is. If the player continues to decline, then is there a point of return from the optimal level of performance? Or is the solution that when a player is in the lowest point of the catastrophe phase, that they are thrown out of the game and cannot participate further? Part of this assignment was creating a questionnaire. This questionnaire asked people why they played sport or why they didn't play sport or why they did play sport. Here is the example for what type of questions we were asking. There are 3 main models within this assignment as well as theories. We had to base the questionnaire that covered each model. So the questions that we asked within the questionnaire had to link with the health belief model, the trans-theoretical model, and the planned behaviour model. Health belief. The health belief model is a theory for why people don't play sport or don't exercise. There is a series of reasons, and these are the perceived susceptibility, perceived severity, and there is also the idea of perceived benefits and perceived barriers. The model explains why individuals may accept or reject healthy behaviour. The model proposes that people will respond with varying answers. 75% of the people we asked in the questionnaire gave an answer for 5 out of 10 on question 17, which asks about the likelihood of them exercising, when asked, despite the fact that they gave severe health-related risks if they didn't carry out exercise. This leads us to believe that they think these problems may not occur to them. 50% said there were definite health benefits to exercise, and a further 25% said they saw social benefits as well. These are the perceived benefits. 25% of people who we asked said that laziness was a leading factor for why people don't exercise. Another 25% said that it was a physical barrier, and the other 50% said it was a psychological barrier that stopped them. 50% of people also said that they would exercise if the doctors recommended it. The theory of planned behavior is the expected attitude towards something, and this is influenced by social norms and perceived control, which is how easy or hard it is to control the situation. Or in the case of sport, how easy or hard it is to change and become more active. Many of the people we asked in the questionnaire said that they wanted to start exercise, but it was a 50-50 split between negative attitudes and positive attitudes towards exercising. 100% of the people that we asked said it was difficult to start exercising, regardless of motivation. The reasons that these people stated were lazy. 75% said it was laziness, and 25% said that sport was boring. The trans-theoretical model. So there is a series that people have to go through to start exercising, and these are pre-contemplation, contemplation, and the preparation phase and the action phase. Pre-contemplation. People that don't want to exercise. 25% of people said they would not exercise regardless of motivation or knowing about the health-related issues. Contemplation. 100% of the people we asked were not contemplating exercise, as they were either already doing it or had no intention of exercising. None of our data supported the preparation phase of this theory, as for the reasons stated above, because people were either already doing exercise or had no intention of doing it. 75% of people were at the action phase of exercising, and 0% of people had terminated their action plan because none of them had done an action plan. Overall, we think that the trans-theoretical theory cannot be applied to our dataset, as nobody had changed. To prevent this, we need to collect more data and find people that have carried out action plans. This series of changes is known as the trans-theoretical model, and are what will affect the process of becoming more active or possibly delaying the progress. People may move through the stages multiple times and at different speeds.